As annoying as laws can be because they don't let you do the stuff that you want to do, maybe, law is very important. Any parent who has rules or laws for their children knows how vital rules can be. Don't touch a hot stove. A child may not understand why they can't touch a hot stove, but they may know that that's a law that's laid down by their parents. And as they grow up, they'll get to understand that I don't touch a hot stove because it'll hurt me. That's the reason that the Ten Commandments are given to us today here in the first reading, because laws are used to protect us, to keep us from hurting ourselves. In the Old Testament, there's 613 laws in total, and very faithful Jewish people still practice all of those laws today. But the laws were used as kind of a fence to encircle the household of Israel. Basically, there's a lot of you shall nots, all these things that you can't do, because if you do those things, that means that you'll slide into the nearby culture. You'll start doing the things that they do, and ultimately be swayed to follow their gods, their customs, and you'll no longer be God's special people because there'll be a disconnect. It's the same thing with any relationship, really. Think of a good, faithful marriage. You don't have sexual relations outside of that relationship because it dissolves the sacredness of that union. Laws are supposed to help preserve relationships and keep you from harm. Later on, St. Paul would go on to talk about law and justification from the law, not because he thought the laws were bad, but because the law ends up ultimately getting written in our hearts as we grow up. So again, the kid who is told not to touch the hot stove maybe follows the law because he trusts the lawgivers, he trusts his parents, but at some point the kid gets the knowledge and the wisdom and understanding and says, that law was given to me so I wouldn't be hurt. Or that law was given to me so that we could be in right relationship with one another. It's as simple as that. As annoying as laws can be, they're there for a purpose. Truly just, truly holy laws are there for our benefit. Think of it this way: we're made in the image and likeness of God. And so if we follow God's laws, then we're going to be following what we naturally should as God's image, as creatures made in his image. If the laws are good for God, then of course they must be good for us too, because we share in that same image. Because if we don't, then society crumbles. If you do kill people, then we can't live in communion. If everybody lies, then how can you believe anybody when they say something? Laws are important. They're good. They're holy. They're helpful. It's really difficult to follow some of these laws. Some of the ones that a lot of people struggle with are sexual sins or sexual temptations, tax evasion maybe, since it's tax season right now. There's all sorts of things that we might struggle with, but the laws are here to help us be in right relationship with God and one another. Anybody who wants to throw that away and live in some sort of anarchy system doesn't really know what the repercussions would be. Maybe they want everything to be for themselves, that there be no law. But if everybody lived that way, then we would all destroy each other. So whenever you consider something that is told to you, whether that you should or should not do, because it's either a human law that we've created to live in society together, or one of God's divine laws, maybe pause and consider, why would this law have been written? Why would God give us this divine law, or why would any kind of judicial system give us this law? If you can understand the reason behind the law, then I think it makes the law a lot more fruitful. Not just obeying anymore because we're still children, but understanding because we're grown and we know that the law is good for us and for our souls.